Revenge films.
My name is Sarah. I work at a company in the sales department, and it's been 5 years since I started working there. I started to get more responsibilities, and every day is fairly busy. What I look forward to the most every single day was to eat my favorite sweets. Whenever I hear information that a cake shop has a new product, I always buy it on my way home from work as a gift to myself. And since I take a lunchbox to work, and therefore saving a lunch cost, I always buy a small dessert from the convenience store to have after my lunch. This was my daily routine. I used to go straight to the convenience store after I finished eating my lunch to get my dessert. But the shop gets busy during lunchtime, so I couldn't really take my time to choose what I wanted. That's why I started leaving the house a little bit earlier in the mornings and would stop by various shops on the way to buy some sweets and leave them in the company refrigerator. However, one day, the dessert that I had left in the fridge was gone. That's strange. I definitely wrote my name on it, didn't I? Because all the employees use that company refrigerator, there's a marker to make sure everybody writes their own names on their belongings. I thought maybe there's a chance I forgot to write my name on them this morning. Of course, just because I didn't write my name on it doesn't make it okay for somebody else to eat it. But I thought maybe I was partially to blame as well, and I let it go that day. However, the next day when I finished eating my lunch and went into the refrigerator, my dessert once again was gone. I definitely know that I wrote my name on it today. I guess that must mean that somebody's eating it. I wanted to figure it out, but since I'm in the sales department, I often have work outside of the office. Plus, even in the office, it's not like I'm always sitting at my desk and everybody uses the fridge. So it wouldn't be possible for me to sit there and observe it all day. I was really bothered by it. Work was busy, so I just decided to stop buying my sweets on the way to work in the mornings. A little while after that, on another day, I had an important meeting with a client that day, so I went to a popular cake shop and lined up 1 hour before the shop opened just so that I could buy their most popular item, the cream puff. And I placed it in the company fridge to take later. Before it was time for me to head out, I went around the other departments to double check the contents of the meeting. And when it came to leave, I went to the refrigerator to open it up to find out that the cream puff was gone. What? Are you kidding me? Why? It's one thing to take my personal desserts, but I couldn't believe that the gift I had prepared for a client had also been taken, and I was irritated. Hey, does anyone know where the cream puff that was in the fridge was? I left it in there because I was going to take it to a client for a meeting.
What? I don't know anything about it, but isn't that bad? That means that someone took it, right?
I don't know, but what do I do? The person in charge at our client's company, Mr. Smith, was the one who told me about the cream puff and how popular it was. He said he wanted to try it at least once. That's why I went so early in the morning and lined up for it. Then my colleague said,
I actually have a small connection to that shop. Do you want me to try contacting them?
What? Really?
Yeah.
She immediately reached out.
Seems like they have a fresh batch that they haven't put out into the shop yet. So they said they'll just set a few aside as a favor for us.
Thank you.
You owe me.
My colleague saved me, and somehow I was able to get the cream puff in time as a gift for a client. They were thrilled, and it was a great impression, and I was able to have a successful first meeting with them. Thank goodness. But who is it? Who could it be that's stealing my stuff? If it's just my own personal things, then all it does is irritate me. But this was a close call for work, and it can't happen again. And one of my colleagues came up to me. Hey, apparently someone saw Karen walking outside with a box from the cake shop with the cream puffs that you were talking about. Seriously? Well, I didn't see it myself, so I can't be too sure. But there was one box of cream puffs in the fridge, right? So that must mean that Karen might have taken it. As soon as I heard that, I rushed over to Karen's desk, but... Excuse me? I went to buy that cream puff myself. Can you stop accusing me without any proof? But they said that you took it out of the department. So what? Is there some law that states I can't bring something I bought for myself into the company? Karen got defensive and refused to admit anything. I know you're lying. That cream puff is so popular that you have to line up in the shop hours before. There's no way that you could have gotten it so easily. I had my friend wait in line for me. Anyway, can you stop blaming me? Just because your ratings are lower than mine, you're just trying to bring me down, aren't you? apathetic, trying to blame others for being bad at your job. From what I heard from another colleague, apparently Karen took my cream puffs and went out of her way to brag that she lined up for them herself, and she was favored by the clients. And that's how she was getting so many contacts signed so quickly. I could barely contain my frustration. But regardless of this cream puff incident, if Karen was the one taking my other desserts too, I figured that the same thing would probably happen again. That's why I waited for the perfect time, and I decided to put a certain plan into action against her. Karen was approaching having a big contract being signed, and she was in a great mood, so I decided to play my plan. Because the contract was set, Karen was in high spirits and said to me, I guess this will create an even bigger gap between us, won't it? Why don't you try a little harder? Although maybe there's no point. Yeah, ha ha ha. She was laughing, in line with her contract signing date. I went to a separate cake shop and made a bit of a ridiculous request and had them made a special custom dessert. That morning, I went to pick it up at the special dessert and left it in the fridge. I had sales meetings, so I was out of the office from morning until 4 p.m. in the afternoon, but when I got back, I've just arrived back. As soon as I walked into the office, Karen stormed me and started grabbing me by the collar. You! What have you done to me? Because of you, my contract is a disaster! In my head, I confirmed that it was indeed Karen that was taking my desserts every time, but I played along. Huh? What are you talking about? What on earth are you saying I did? You put a massive amount of wasabi and horseradish into the cream puffs in the fridge, didn't you? The client ate that and he was furious and we got major complaints. That's right. The custom dessert that I requested was for them to fill half of the cream puff with wasabi and horseradish, because I was expecting this exactly to happen. What? Those cream puffs in the fridge, I bought them because I wanted to play Russian roulette game with my colleagues later. So why are you taking those to a client? This must have brought Karen back down to earth because her face turned completely pale and full of regret. I knew it. So you were the one taking my desserts as well as the cream puffs that I was going to take to my client. It was all you, wasn't it? No, you're wrong. I just made a little mistake. Interesting. What did you mistake it for? Where are the desserts that you were originally planning to take? Where in the fridge are those? Shut up! I don't have time for this right now. If we can't recover from this and get the contract signed because of you, you better take responsibility. Why should I? You better! As Karen was howling about, our boss, who had already heard what happened, arrived with flames in his eyes.
I heard that you brought a box of cream puffs with wasabi and horseradish as a prank to our client. Is that true?
It wasn't a prank. That woman tried to set up a trap for me. I don't know what she's talking about. I would never do such a thing. I had made a custom order at a cake shop in order to play a game with my colleagues later. And Miss Karen stole the box without any permission and used it herself. Here's the proof that we were just trying to play a game amongst ourselves. So to my boss and to my colleagues, I showed them the group chat messages that we were talking about playing the Russian roulette game. Seeing this...
So, because you stole your colleagues' belongings without any permission. And that's why this contract was destroyed!
Our boss was furious as her face was bright red, and she looked like she was about to cry. But it wasn't my fault! She kept trying to say, but I'm sure that wouldn't change anything. She got what she deserved. After that, it came to light that Karen had been stealing my things and taking them to other clients, and combined with the cream puff incident, she was fired. The company demanded that she pays me back for all of the things that she had taken from me. And, almost like a cost of damages, she had to pay me money. When met with punishment, Karen continued, "This is all your fault!" She kept repeating this as she packed up her desk, but it was really all her own doing. The rumors about Karen had spread throughout the company already, and I'm sure people heard about it from the client victim too. So it would probably be impossible for her to find a new job in the same industry. I don't have an ounce of sympathy anywhere for her though.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.